Kindness feels lonely, doesn't it? In his motivational speech, Denzel Washington says nice people often end up alone, not because they're weak, but because their kindness is too rare for most to appreciate. This isn't a flaw. It's a strength preparing you for meaningful connections. Stay with me because his words have the power to change your life and how you see yourself. Sometimes, life hits you so hard that it feels impossible to stand back up. Standing here today, I can't help but notice the kind souls among us. The ones who pour everything they have into others, even when there's nothing left for themselves. You know the ones. They're the people who smile even when their hearts are breaking, who say yes when their entire being screams no. They're the ones who keep giving, no matter how tired or drained they feel. Are you one of them? Are you tired of always being there for everyone else, only to realize that when you need someone, there's nothing but silence? Tired of being the shoulder others cry on, while your own shoulders carry every burden, alone and unseen? If this feels familiar, I see you, I understand you, and I need you to know something. Being nice is not your weakness. It's your superpower. You might not feel like it right now. In fact, you might feel like the world is crushing you, like your kindness is being taken for granted at every turn. But it's not crushing you, it's teaching you. Every moment of loneliness, every time you question why being good seems to lead to isolation, the truth is you're growing stronger. The world isn't punishing you, it's refining you. Nice people often build walls, not because they want to, but because they've been hurt so many times. They trust too often, forgive too easily, and keep giving others the benefit of the doubt again and again. Until one day, they find themselves sitting in solitude, wondering, where did everyone go? You've been there, haven't you? Giving your time, energy, and heart to people who treated you like an afterthought. Canceling plans to help someone who wouldn't lift a finger for you. Listening to someone pour their heart out, only to get a sorry, "I'm busy" text when you needed the same kindness in return. No one tells you this, but nice people often end up alone. Not because they're flawed, but because they're ahead of their time. In a world that celebrates toughness, you choose kindness. In a society that rewards selfishness, you choose to give. While others are focused on protecting themselves, you're looking out for everyone else. The problem isn't you. It's that most people aren't ready for someone like you. Most people aren't equipped to handle genuine kindness. They're so used to games, manipulation, and hidden agendas that when they meet someone who's truly kind, they don't know what to do. Your kindness isn't a flaw, it's rare, and people often fear what they don't understand. Being kind in today's world is like planting a garden in a city of concrete. While everyone else is busy building walls, you're busy nurturing flowers. And yes, sometimes that means you're the only one with dirt under your fingernails while everyone else keeps their hands clean. But let me break this down for you. You're not alone because you're not enough. You're alone because you're too much for those who are used to too little. You have standards that most people aren't ready to meet. You give respect and expect it in return. You show up for others and expect the same. You keep your word and believe others should too. But the truth is, not everyone is ready for that level of authenticity. Your capacity to love, care, and show up, it intimidates people who've never learned to do the same. It's not your fault. Think about water. When you pour it into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour it into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Water adapts just like you do, but water also finds its own level, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're not losing people, you're filtering them. Every time someone walks away because your kindness makes them uncomfortable, they're making space for someone who will cherish your heart. Every time someone takes advantage of your generosity and then disappears, they're teaching you who truly deserves your energy. That's the truth no one tells you. Being kind isn't a weakness, it's a strength. But listen carefully. Being kind doesn't mean being naive. Being nice doesn't mean being a doormat. You can have a good heart while still setting boundaries. You can remain kind while learning to say no. You can keep your authenticity while being selective about who gets access to your energy. The loneliness you feel, it's temporary. It's not a punishment or a curse. It's the universe protecting you. It's creating distance between you and those who aren't ready to meet you at the level of authenticity you bring to your relationships. Life is clearing the way, making space for the people who will match your energy, value your kindness, and return the effort you give so freely. Do you know why so many kind people struggle? It's because they keep offering five-star treatment to those who wouldn't even deserve a free sample. They pour their time and energy into people who are emotionally unavailable, hoping their care will make a difference. They keep watering dead plants, believing they'll somehow come back to life. Stop doing that. Your kindness is not a currency to buy someone's approval. It's not a payment to keep people in your life. It's a gift, one that only the deserving should receive. Your ability to care deeply is your superpower, not your downfall. Your niceness is your strength, not a weakness to be exploited. Yet so often, kind people forget their worth. They get so caught up in seeing the good in others that they fail to see the greatness within themselves. They focus on fixing others' broken pieces while neglecting their own healing. They are so busy showing up for everyone else that they forget to show up for themselves. Here's the truth. Loneliness isn't a punishment for being kind. It's the universe's way of giving you the time you need to build yourself. It's an opportunity to understand your value, to set higher standards, and to prepare for the connections that will match your authenticity. You're not alone because you're kind. You're alone because you're growing. And growth, as painful as it can be, is a solitary journey. Think about a seed. When it begins to grow, it does so in darkness, alone beneath the soil. Only after it has built itself strong enough does it break through to the light. Or consider diamonds. They form under immense pressure in total isolation, deep within the earth. That's you right now. The pressure you're feeling, the solitude you're experiencing. It's not breaking you. It's refining you, making you more valuable, more resilient, more extraordinary. Stop apologizing for being nice. Stop questioning why your kind heart seems to leave you standing alone. The truth is, your kindness isn't driving people away. It's filtering out those who don't deserve you. It's funny, isn't it? People love to say, nice guys finish last, but they're wrong. Nice people don't finish last. They finish strong. While others rush through life, burning bridges and stepping on toes, nice people are building meaningful connections. They're creating bonds that last and leaving a legacy of compassion that will outlive them. But here's where things need to shift. You need to be nice to yourself first. Being kind doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. You need to set boundaries and protect your energy. Saying no isn't cruel, it's honest. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. The world needs your kindness, but it also needs your strength. It needs your compassion, but it also needs your wisdom. You can't pour from an empty cup. Being nice and being strong aren't opposites, they're partners. Your kindness doesn't mean you have to trust everyone or let people take advantage of you. Instead, it's about being selective. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves access to your heart and energy. Nice people often end up alone, not because they're flawed, but because they expect from others what they're willing to give. They're waiting for someone to show up with the same level of intensity, honesty, and care they offer. And yes, that wait can feel endless, can be lonely. It can make you question everything about yourself. But let me tell you, the wait is worth it. When you find those rare people who match your energy, who appreciate your kindness, and who reciprocate your efforts, it's like finding water in the middle of a desert. It's a feeling that makes all the loneliness, all the questioning, worthwhile. The solution isn't to harden yourself or close off your heart. You don't need to become colder, tougher, or more distant. What you need is wisdom. Wisdom to know who deserves your kindness. Wisdom to see that your niceness is a gift, not an obligation. Wisdom to understand that being nice to everyone doesn't mean trusting everyone. Your kindness is an investment, not a guarantee of immediate returns. Sometimes it feels like a losing bet, but in the long run, it's always the right choice. But remember this. Being nice doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you never get angry, never feel hurt, or never express frustration. It means you choose kindness, even when you have every reason not to. It's about making a conscious decision to be kind, not about changing who you are. The loneliness you're feeling right now is not permanent. It's not a punishment either. It's preparation. It's the universe teaching you something valuable. It's better to be alone than to surround yourself with people who don't value what you bring to the table. You're not too nice. You're not too soft. You're not too giving. You're exactly what this world needs. You're the light in someone's darkness, the hope in someone's despair, the kindness in a cruel world. But even light needs boundaries. You need to be careful about who gets to experience your warmth. Not everyone deserves the kindness you offer so freely. You must be particular about who gets to be part of your story, because your kindness isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. Nice people don't end up alone because they're unworthy. They often end up alone because they're rare in a world that accepts the ordinary. They bring authenticity in a world that settles for appearances. They offer depth in a society content with surface-level connections. This loneliness you feel isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's not your failure. It's your preparation. It's not your weakness. It's your strength taking shape. Stand tall in who you are. Let your kindness be your armor. Let your compassion become the strength that carries you forward. One day, you'll find your tribe. One day, you'll be surrounded by people who don't just take from you, but who reflect your kindness back to you. And on that day, you'll realize that being nice was never your weakness. It's been your greatest strength all along. Until then, don't stop being kind. Don't stop being you, but be wise about it. Be selective with it. Be proud of it. In a world that feels colder and harder every day, your warmth is more than nice. It's necessary. The world doesn't need more people chasing success at all costs. It needs more kind people, people like you, who have learned how to succeed without losing their compassion. Yes, you might be alone right now, but alone doesn't mean lonely. Alone means you're strong enough to wait for what you deserve rather than settling for what's easy. Alone means you're brave enough to stand by your values, even if it means standing alone for a while. Your kindness isn't your weakness. It's your legacy. It's not what's holding you back. It's what will ultimately set you apart. It's not what's making you alone. It's preparing you for the relationships and opportunities that truly matter. So hold on to it, protect it, nurture it, but most importantly, be careful about who gets to share in it. Your kindness isn't just a personality trait. It's a gift. And gifts should be given to those who understand their worth. The right people are coming. The right connections are forming. The right opportunities are on their way. But in the meantime, keep being kind. But be kind to yourself first. Keep giving, but remember to give to yourself too. At the end of the day, your kindness isn't what leaves you alone. It's what brings you to exactly where you need to be, with people who truly value your heart, appreciate your kindness, and match your authenticity. That's the truth about why nice people often end up alone. It's not a punishment, it's preparation. It's not an ending, it's a beginning. It's not a weakness, it's the strongest thing you'll ever possess. So stand tall in your kindness. Stand firm in your authenticity. Be proud of the person you are, because one day, very soon, the world will catch up to where you've been all along. Think about martial artists. They train daily, shaping their bodies and minds with unwavering discipline. They don't reveal their best moves to just anyone. They reserve them for moments that matter. That's what kind people do with their hearts. They practice kindness like an art. And just like a martial artist, you don't have to give your highest level of kindness to those who haven't earned it. Some people will tell you to toughen up, that the world is too harsh for kind-hearted individuals. But they've got it all wrong. The world isn't too harsh for nice people. It's harsh because there aren't enough kind souls who know how to stay strong while keeping their softness intact. Think of a tree in a storm. It bends, it sways, but it doesn't snap. Its flexibility is what gives it strength. That's exactly what your kindness is, your ability to adapt, to forgive, to show compassion. It's not a weakness. It's a quiet strength that can outlast even the strongest structures. Each time someone walks away from your kindness, they're not rejecting you, they're avoiding their own growth. They're choosing the comfort of superficial relationships instead of facing the challenge of building something real. Nice people often spend years being the dependable backup plan, the reliable friend who's always there when needed. But let's get one thing straight, you're not a backup plan. You're the main event. The problem is, some people just aren't ready for what you have to offer. Here's what's really happening when you're kind. You hold up a mirror that reflects people's behavior back to them. For some, that reflection is hard to face. They see their own shortcomings, their lack of depth, their inability to match your sincerity, and it makes them uncomfortable. It's like having perfect pitch in a world where most people are tone deaf. You hear things they don't, feel emotions they can't, and notice nuances they overlook. That sensitivity isn't a curse. It's a gift. The only thing missing is the right audience. Some days it might feel like you're speaking a language nobody understands. But trust me, there are others out there who speak your language. People who understand the subtleties of kindness, who value genuine care, who are fluent in the art of authentic connection. Your kindness isn't just about being nice, it's revolutionary. In a world quick to judge, you choose to understand. In a world eager to condemn, you choose forgiveness. In a world obsessed with taking, you choose to give. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. You don't chase boats across the ocean trying to rescue them. You stand steady, shining your light, and the right ships find their way to you. That's how your kindness should work. Not as a desperate plea for connection, but as a beacon guiding the right people into your life. Your kindness is bravery. It takes courage to keep your heart open when the world gives you every reason to close it. It takes strength to stay genuine when pretending would be easier. And it takes wisdom to remain kind when bitterness feels like a safer choice. The solitude you're feeling right now isn't emptiness. It's a sacred space. It's where you learn the difference between those who need your light and those who only want to take advantage of it. It's where you discover that kindness doesn't mean being available to everyone. It means being valuable to the right ones. Your struggle isn't with being too kind. It's with being too accessible. Your challenge isn't your big heart. It's the way you let others use it. Your problem isn't the quality of what you offer. It's finding people who truly appreciate it. You're like a master chef serving gourmet meals to people who are content with fast food. The issue isn't your cooking. It's finding diners who can recognize and savor the quality of what you bring to the table. The time you spend alone isn't wasted. It's an investment. Every moment of solitude is an opportunity to deepen your understanding of what real connection looks like. Every quiet evening is a chance to strengthen your relationship with yourself. What no one tells you is that kind people are some of the strongest individuals out there. It takes an incredible amount of power to stay soft in a world that's so hard. It requires unimaginable strength to keep choosing kindness when bitterness seems like the easier option. Your journey isn't about finding someone who merely wants your kindness. It's about connecting with someone who deserves it. It's not about meeting someone who needs your light. It's about finding someone who adds to it. The silence surrounding you isn't emptiness. It's the sound of the universe clearing your path. It's removing those who can't handle your depth to make room for those who can swim in your ocean. Every moment you spend feeling alone is actually a moment of becoming stronger, more discerning, and more aware of your own worth. You're not just waiting, you're preparing. You're not just surviving, you're evolving. The very traits that make some people leave your life are the same ones that will draw the right people in. Your depth will attract those who are unafraid to explore it. Your authenticity will resonate with those who prioritize truth over convenience. Your kindness will become a magnet for those who genuinely value it. This current season of solitude isn't your entire story. It's just a single chapter. And like any gripping narrative, the toughest chapters often lay the foundation for the most beautiful endings. Keep your fire alive, but be intentional about who you allow to share its warmth. Let your light shine, but be discerning about who it guides. Keep your heart open, but choose carefully who you allow into it. One day, you'll look back on this time and realize you weren't alone because you were too kind or too soft. You were alone because you were becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that kind of transformation is never a shared journey. It's one you take on your own, preparing you for the most meaningful connections. The world doesn't just need nice people. It needs kind people who have learned wisdom. It needs those who've mastered the balance between giving and protecting themselves. Kindness without boundaries isn't kindness at all. It's self-neglect. This time you're spending alone isn't a punishment. It's a promotion. You're being elevated to a level where not everyone can follow, and that's perfectly fine. It might feel lonely at first, but the clarity and strength you gain from this process will make it worth every step you take alone. Stand firm in your truth and hold fast to your kindness. Keep your heart soft, but fortify it with strong boundaries. The world doesn't need just another nice person. It needs you, exactly as you are, with all the resilience, insight, and strength that your solitude has cultivated. This is your moment to evolve, to transition from simply being kind to being intentionally, powerfully, and selectively kind. To stop being everyone's fallback and step into the role of being someone's priority. The seeds of kindness you've planted will bloom in their own time. The love you've poured into the world will return to you. The authenticity you've maintained will draw others who share your values. Until that happens, keep growing, keep glowing, keep going, because your version of kindness isn't just unique, it's revolutionary. In a world starving for authentic connection, your ability to offer it isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. Use it wisely. Share it with intention. Own it with pride. Being kind isn't just about being nice. It's about being transformative. Your goal isn't to find someone who simply needs your light. It's to find someone who helps make it shine even brighter. Your aim isn't to be someone's everything. It's to be complete in yourself and share that completeness with someone who adds to it. Your story isn't about ending up alone. It's about finding the right people, those who meet you in kindness, match your authenticity, and join you in growth. This is your legacy in the making, your journey to becoming not just kind, but intentionally, powerfully, and transformatively kind. Own it, embrace it, because being nice isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. And while extraordinary people may walk their path alone for a while, when they find their tribe, they change the world. I see that look in your eyes, the one that says you're tired of being strong, tired of being patient, tired of waiting for the world to catch up to the level of care and love you so naturally offer. But let me tell you something powerful. Every great revolution starts with one person who refuses to compromise their values. Think of yourself as a rare vintage wine in a world addicted to instant gratification. Not everyone has the palate to appreciate your depth, the patience to understand your complexity, or the wisdom to recognize your worth. And that's exactly how it should be. Your standards aren't too high. It's others' commitment to growth that falls short. Your expectations aren't unrealistic. It's others' willingness to evolve that's limited. Your heart isn't too big. It's their capacity to love authentically that's too small. Stop measuring your worth by the number of people in your life. Start measuring it by the peace you feel when you stay true to yourself. Stop counting the friends you have. Start counting the moments you stood by your values, even if it meant standing alone. Each time you choose kindness when vengeance seems easier, you're not losing, you're leading. Each time you choose authenticity when pretense feels simpler, you're not failing, you're pioneering. Each time you stay true to your nature when bitterness calls, you're not falling behind, you're blazing a trail. The most impactful people in history didn't conform to their times. They transformed them. The greatest leaders didn't lower their standards. They inspired others to rise. The most unforgettable souls didn't dim their light. They showed others how to shine. You're not just waiting for your moment, you're creating it. Every second of solitude is strengthening your character. Every instance of loneliness is refining your purpose. Every time you're misunderstood, your vision becomes clearer. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep being exactly who you are, because the world is catching up to the light you've always carried. When you wake up tomorrow, remember this. You're not a victim of your kindness. You're a trailblazer, a pioneer of authentic living. Your kindness isn't a weakness. It's your strength, your rebellion against a world that often forgets what it means to truly care. You're not losing because you're genuine. In fact, you're winning in the ways that matter most. You're teaching the world what real strength looks like. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that lifts others up while staying true to its gentle spirit. The world doesn't need more people hardened by life. It needs more souls strong enough to remain soft. It doesn't need more individuals who've mastered how to take. It needs those who've learned to give wisely. It doesn't need more people who succeed at others' expense. It needs those who know how to win while helping others rise alongside them. The time you've spent feeling alone isn't a punishment. It's a training ground. Every tear you've cried isn't a sign of defeat. It's water nurturing your growth. Every heartbreak you've endured doesn't show your weakness. It's proof of your resilience. So hold your head high, beautiful soul. Keep your heart open with courage, and stand firm in your gentle strength. The world doesn't just need the things you do, it desperately needs who you are. And remember this, being kind isn't a flaw. It's your declaration that there's a better way to live. Being genuine isn't a shortcoming. It's your revolution against a world that sometimes forgets how to be real. Your kindness is an act of defiance, your bold refusal to let the harshness of life harden you. You're not just living, you're leading. You're not merely existing, you're an example for others. You're not surviving, you're thriving, showing everyone around you what it means to hold onto your humanity in a world that often tries to strip it away. Let them walk away if they must. Let them misunderstand you if they will. Let them undervalue your kindness if they choose. One day, they'll realize they didn't lose you. They lost the chance to be part of your legacy. Keep shining, beautiful soul. Keep loving with that gentle heart. Keep believing with the bravery that defines you. The world doesn't just need more successful people. It needs more humans who remember what it means to be truly human. And you, with every act of kindness, are teaching that lesson every single day. This is not your ending. It's your beginning. This isn't your defeat. It's your defining moment. This isn't a weakness. It's your wake-up call to own the immense power within you. You're not too kind for this world. This world simply isn't ready for your level of authenticity. And that's not a flaw. It's a gift. It's your light to share, your truth to live, your purpose to fulfill. Stand tall in that truth. Walk with pride in your authenticity. Move boldly in your kindness. Because you're not just being nice, you're being revolutionary. And revolutions always begin with one courageous soul who dares to stand out. That's your calling. That's your legacy. Now go live it. Not for them, not for anyone else, but for every kind soul who's ever felt alone. For every gentle heart that's been misunderstood. And for every brave spirit that's ever doubted its worth. You're not just nice, you're necessary. You're not just kind, you're essential. You're not just gentle, you're groundbreaking. This isn't just a compliment. It's a calling. Own it. Live it. Be it. Because the world doesn't need more people who are just nice. It needs more kind souls who are unstoppable. That's you. And your time is now. Rise up, beautiful soul. Step forward. Shine brighter than ever before. Because your kindness isn't just rare, it's revolutionary. And revolutions change the world, one kind heart at a time. Starting with yours right here, right now. Rise. Your moment has arrived. Listening to Denzel Washington speak about the transformative power of kindness always leaves an imprint on my heart. His words, "Your kindness isn't a weakness. It's a strength preparing you for what's ahead," resonated deeply with me. It wasn't just motivational. It was a wake-up call, a reminder that even in moments of doubt and solitude, kindness holds transformative power. Denzel's message pushed me to reflect on a particular chapter of my life. A few years ago, I found myself in a similar place, a kind person trying to balance giving generously to others while feeling emotionally drained. As a young professional in a competitive industry, I often prioritized others' needs over my own. I stayed late to help coworkers meet deadlines, mentored interns when no one else would, and consistently put others' problems above my own well-being. It felt like I was living Denzel's metaphorical lighthouse, shining my light for others while standing alone in the storm. At one point, the weight of this self-imposed expectation became overwhelming. I remember a night when I stayed up until 3 a.m. preparing a pitch deck for a colleague who casually mentioned how busy they were. That same week, when I sought help for a crucial project of my own, I was met with excuses and indifference. I felt invisible, questioning why my acts of kindness were reciprocated with silence. But here's the turning point. Denzel's philosophy shifted my perspective. Like he said, kindness isn't about keeping score. It's about growth. It's about filtering out those who take your light for granted and making room for those who reflect it back to you. Inspired by this, I began to set boundaries, not to stop being kind, but to be kind wisely. I learned to say no to what drained me and yes to what aligned with my values. That shift didn't just change my professional relationships. It transformed how I viewed myself. I began to see my kindness not as a burden, but as a gift, one that deserved protection. And as Denzel promised, the right people, the ones who valued authenticity and reciprocity, soon found their way into my life. So now, as I share this with you, I want to pass on the same wisdom Denzel gave me. Be kind, but be discerning. Your kindness is not a currency to earn validation. It's a strength that shapes your journey and prepares you for connections that truly matter. Let it guide you, but don't let it exhaust you. Remember, as Denzel so powerfully said, your kindness is your superpower. Wear it with pride. If Denzel's wisdom resonates with you, imagine the impact of diving deeper into more life-changing lessons like this. Don't stop here. Let's keep growing together. Subscribe to the channel today and join a community dedicated to finding purpose, building resilience, and living authentically. Together, we'll continue to learn from the best and apply those lessons to create lives that inspire others. Hit that subscribe button, because your journey doesn't stop here. It's only just beginning. Thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself, and for choosing growth. Here's to your next step in the transformative power of kindness and wisdom. Let's rise together.